Well, hey, friends, welcome back to the podcast. I'm glad you're here. We're going to talk about courage and being fearless today. And this is so relevant for me. The timing was pretty perfect to talk about this because I'm having to actually exert quite a bit of courage these days in the face of a not so fun situation. And in fact, just found out too, unrelated, but someone in Clinical Business Academy, one of the doctors there, had just encountered a situation that probably required him to be courageous. And then I had another woman reach out to me and she was having to be courageous. I'm like, what is in the water right now? Everybody's having to man up and put your courage pants on. And so I thought this was a good topic for us to chat about a little bit today. So I am a proverbial glass, not even a glass half full person. I am a glass all the way full person all the time, all the way full. And that works really well for me most of the time. But when it doesn't work is when I need to stop and just sit back for a minute and say, okay, yeah, really, truly, your glass is kind of down, half full, maybe a little lower. And what do you need to learn from this, or where do you need to adjust what you're doing in order to fix it so that you're not losing your water? So, allow me to explain this a little differently. Life comes at us fast, right? It comes at us on the home front, it's coming at us fast. On the political front, it's coming at us really fast. On the, marriage side, kids side, parenting side, all the things. It's like flying at us so fast, so fast, so fast. Sometimes it can be really challenging to keep all those balls juggling in the air, right? Everybody happy all the time, all the time. Sometimes one of those balls hits the ground and just shatters into a gazillion pieces. And I just recently have had this happen 4 times in a row in the last 3 months. And I feel like I got the wind knocked out of me a little bit. Actually, that's not true. Not a little bit, a lot. I feel like I am an athlete on the field trying to play my very best game. And every time I get up, somebody comes and hits me right in the sternum and whoof, I'm down on the ground again. And so when you have to get back up, you got to get back in the game. And you just have to be fearless and you have to get, back on the horse and be courageous. And by nature, I'm really good at that. But lately, I've found that it's been a little bit more challenging. And so I wanted to just share a little bit of my own kind of story. I'll give you the very Reader's Digest abridged version. But I want to let you know that, I'm struggling a little bit over here. It's not that I'm not going to get through it and I'm good, but it's made me kind of have to pause. And my personality is I don't like pausing. In fact, little known fact about Rhonda, I don't like yoga. And the reason I don't like yoga is because it makes me go slow. And I don't like to go slow. I like to go fast. I'm on fast all the time. It's how I love being fast. I love achieving. It's my number one strength. I love go, go, go. I love it. And I can slow down, but yoga slowed me way down, which is probably a reason why I need it. But if I have to stop and I can't keep achieving, then I feel like I've failed. And so in the case where I told you that I kind of got the wind knocked out of me 4 times, I've had 4 employees quit since the beginning of February. And this right now, at the time of this recording, we are in the first week of August. So I don't know when this is going to air. But that's a bit of a short period of time to have 4 people that you fully trained and then they all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, but 2 I had to fire and 2 of them quit. And so I'm back with nobody. I have no employees. So let me give you context. I own 3 businesses. One, I have a partner. The other one is my clinical business and clinical consulting that you all know about. And the third one is I have a brick and mortar business in Seattle, which is where I am right now. And it's this brick and mortar business that I'm talking about. So my team is all good. So don't panic. Elaine and Betsy and Jamie, they're all good. Yentl, everybody's fine. But this dang brick and mortar business is making me have to choose courage and it's making me have to choose bravery and it's forcing me to be fearless and to get back up and do the thing when what I really want to do is quit. I really just want to quit. I want to just say, forget it. I'm going to put a sign on the door. I'm going to walk away. And that's not my MO. Probably not yours either, but sometimes it's just hard when you get the wind knocked out of you so many times. So I'm struggling a bit. And I told you a couple weeks ago on the podcast that I would share with you a little bit more about what was going on. And then the two most recent developments of the last two that quit, I had two quit within 2 weeks. And so it's just been a challenge. So I'm now, if you think about it, like if we can make the connection, I'm basically running my practice all by myself. And it's a very, very, very full practice. So I'm working long days, usually here at the office till 8 or 8:30 at night. And I'm up at around 4 or 4:30. And yeah, that's just what it's taking right now. And I'm actively hiring. But man, oh man, I'm scared. I'm super scared. I'm nervous. And I keep joking that I'm going to start a podcast, another podcast, like I need another thing to do. But I keep joking, I'm going to start another podcast. And you know, what I'm going to call it, What is Wrong with People? No kidding. I'm going to call it, What is Wrong with People? And I kind of say that in jest, but I probably, part of me is sort of serious. If you think that's a good idea, you should email me and let me know. I just might do it. But anyway, I've got to keep my head screwed on straight. Like I got to get back up and be willing to get the wind knocked out of me again. And so for me right now, it's staffing. That's kind of the issue. And I don't get to do the things that I love. Like I like this med spa. It's fine. But if someone came by today and wanted to buy it, it's very profitable. It runs well. It's all fine. I just can't find that right person. And I'm not willing to compromise on my values. I'm not willing to take just anybody. I'm not willing to do that because if they can't take care of my people, I'm not going to do it. Kind of like you with a front desk person or, someone that you're having help you in the back office. You don't just want anybody. You want someone who really gets you, who's someone who believes in your mission and your cause. And that's what I'm contending for. So, despite the number of tears that there has been and overwhelm, like I looked at my Asana tasks a little bit ago that my team is so sweet and they just load me up. They're like, "Okay, here's what we need, here's what we need." And I looked at it and I literally started the tears came in my eyes. Because you know how it feels when you just get so overwhelmed and then any little thing just feels like a mountain, just feels huge. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So if you've ever been there, well, yeah, it's kind of sucky. It's kind of not fun. But we will get through this, right? And if you look back in your life, you've probably been in these kinds of situations before. And guess what? You're still here. You're still kicking. So I know I will get through this. It's just not fun in the middle. This is like the messy middle. It's like the messy, turbulent part that we have to deal with in our businesses, with our kids, in a marriage, family relationships, politics, economy, money, all the things. We just have to deal with the messy middle sometimes. It's never smooth sailing. So here's what I'm doing. I'm just like going to tell you what I'm doing to allow myself to get back up and get in the game and hire again and find that right person to come in and partner with me because that's what I'm looking for. I'm not a necessarily business partner, but I want someone who's going to love my people and love taking care of them. And I want them to love being here. And I'm not willing to compromise on that. So if it means that I have to do the work by myself for a while, I'm okay with that. I don't like it, but I'm okay with that. So, the first thing that I jotted down to chat with you about is the importance of your self talk. So, recently, it's probably been 3 weeks ago. So, it was before this last, fiasco with these last two employees happened. But I have been using my words very intentionally as it had to do with how I spoke to myself about myself and about my world. Because our words are so powerful, right? We create. There's life and death in the power of the tongue. And so I want to create life. I just naturally tend to be that way. I'm not perfect, but I tend to be that way anyway. But I started to be very intentional about it. And what I started to say was only good things come into my life. And the very first day that I started, I really felt it. Like it was deep. You got to feel it. It's got to be in your body. And the very first day, I kid you not, the very first day that I said, I'm going to own this, and I believe this to be true, only good things come into my life, only good things. That was the day that the first of the 2 recent employees. That was the day she quit. And there was some, funny things that went on with that, but I thought, "Okay, had I not had that context or that frame of reference, I think it would have been harder." But I had to believe because I knew in my bones, I knew it was true. Only good can come into my life. Only good things happen. Only good things happen to me. Only good things come into my life. That when she quit, I didn't like it and I cried. And I felt sucker punched because I didn't see it coming and there was some kind of messiness with it. But deep down, I said, okay, this is good. Because if only good things can come into my life, then that means that this is a good thing. And I just kept on with that mantra, I'll call it. And there's so many of them out there. You go online and find whatever one floats your boat. I just needed one that was really simple and clear and it meant something to me. Only good things come into my life. And that means patience. That means people. That means friendships. That means trips to the grocery store and the things that I'm going to find. Like only good things happen, only good things. I've stayed really clear with my self talk. It would have been so easy for me having been through 4 people since February, and now I have none. It would be really easy for me, and I'm not saying the temptation's not there because it definitely is, but it would have been really easy for me to say, well, it's me. I'm just an awful person. No one can work for me. I'm a really mean person. It must be me. What's wrong with me? In fact, true. At one point, I think when I was really feeling defeated, I said to my coach, because I think everybody needs a coach or a mentor. I said to her, I said, "You know what I think?" I said, "I think I'm just gonna turn into a bitch." Pardon my language. That was what I said. I don't know what else to do. I'm just a really nice human, and I treat people really, really well. I pay well, treat them well. I don't know what else to do. Do I just be mean like everybody else? Is that what the thing is? But, that's not gonna work because it's not who I am. I would be out of integrity with myself. So sometimes you just get in that place where you're like, "Ah, I don't know what to do." I had to keep coming back to only good things happen. Only good things come into my life. And then the second thing that I realized is that I have to be, and I don't say had because it's an everyday thing. I have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And I don't like that because I like to kind of be able to say, okay, problem, let's solve it. But I can't the hiring problem is completely out of my control. Like, all I can do is get my ads out there. All I can do is start talking to people. That's all I can do. I can interview, but that's all I can do. And if I am uncomfortable and I run away from the discomfort, I'm not gonna learn what I need to learn. Because remember, for me, only good things come into my life. So if I'm afraid of hiring, which I would have been, but I've done a lot of work on myself in the last 18 months to 2 years. Like, I have just like, we're taking no prisoners, burn the boats. Rhonda is gonna be the best Rhonda she can be. And a couple years ago, this would have literally put me in the crazy house. I probably would have closed the business 2 years ago because I would have not been able to see that it isn't me. It's because only good things come into my life. And I have to be comfortable with the uncomfortable so that I can learn and I can be patient, which is not my virtue. I'm not patient. I want it right now so that I can be okay waiting until that right person, right situation comes to me. So I have to get back in the game. I got to get back up on the horse. I have to be uncomfortable being uncomfortable. It's like if you get the wind knocked out of you, you don't feel really great for a while, but you got to get back in the game because your teammates are waiting on you. Like, you can't bag out. So I think that I also am being very mindful about being present. And when I'm not working, which is not very often, but like last night, Rick and I there was a summer party in a neighborhood that we love here in Seattle, and we know people that live there. And so we went up and we hung out. And it was a cover band and great songs. And I love to sing. And I said, "You guys go talk to whoever you know. I'm out. I'm going to the front of the line. I'm going up in the front. I'm going to dance and I'm going to sing. I'm going to close this thing down." And I did that 2 years ago, I would have never let myself do that. So I just am trying to fully throw myself into the moments. So when I'm with a patient and I think, oh my gosh, I have so many other things I need to be doing, I'm just fully present. When I'm in a pod inside Clinical Business Academy and there's just 3 or 4 practitioners in there and we're all just connecting and talking about their businesses, about what they've got going on. I don't want to be distracted and thinking about, oh my gosh, I got to go do that. I don't want to, all the other things that are going on. What about the ad? I got to set that interview up, grocery list, all the things. I don't want to do that. So I've been very intentional about being present, but that makes me uncomfortable. Not that I don't wanna be present, but because there's so much sitting on my shoulders. I hope this is making sense for you. So those are kind of the 3 big things. Like, I think I've just decided to govern my self-talk and be comfortable being uncomfortable. And then I also am just trying to stay as present as I can because if I'm distracted, I'm going to miss something. It's like when you're driving a car, you got to be fully present or you're going to miss something that could end up being a good thing or a bad thing, but you're going to miss something. I want to be mindful. I want to be present for the people around me and not let this situation be so all encompassing that it causes me to miss out on the things that are the most important and I'm going to remember because I am going to get through this bumpy part. It's not fun and I don't like it. There is not one part of this that I like, except that only good things come to me. Only good things are in my life. That's all. And I have to keep my mind there because otherwise I'll just go crazy and cry all the time. So, friend, that's where I'm at. I told you I was going to give you a little bit more insight about what's going on here. And I will say this too. It's caused me to reevaluate the way that I hire people. And I have a great hiring process, and we have a whole training on it inside Clinical Business Academy. But I have realized that that's worked for a long time, but I don't know that it's working as well. Still works, but I don't know if it's working as well as it used to. So now I'm back thinking, okay, how do I need to change my hiring process instead of making it so restrictive? Maybe I open it up a little bit and I don't know what it looks like yet. I'm still working on that, trying to kind of figure that out because people are different. The pandemic changed everybody. The political landscape's changing people. There's more division and divisiveness and people are choosing sides and not wanting to work together. And we all have been exposed to that in medicine, conventional medicine versus alternative or functional or complementary medicine. Like, we've been exposed to that for a long time, but now as far as that chasm goes, but now it's in our world. And I have to think about this from the perspective of the person that I want to hire. How do I set up a hiring process? And maybe this is what being present does. I'm staying present. I want to go fix it, but I can't. I got to stick in the uncomfortable. And when I can stay right in that uncomfortable spot, it allows me to be able to rethink what I'm doing instead of just charging ahead and doing the same thing I've always done. Maybe it's time for a do-over. Maybe it's time for me to think, maybe I need to do a different type of questioning at a certain point in the interview process. Or maybe there needs to be an in-person meeting versus a Zoom call initially, which is how I've always done it in the past. But I'm just being open and present because only good things come into my life. And I believe that. And if I believe that, then I have to be okay with the fact that I have a lot on my plate right now. But I still do believe that. And that means that that right person is out there and she is waiting to find me. And I'm not going to be able to find her. She's not going to be able to find me if I'm over here in my toxic soup talking all kind of negative about my situation. And let me tell you, I could. There are a million things I could talk to you about. And I'm not going to because it's not conductive or conducive to anything. It's not conducive to the end that I want. What I want is good things to come into my life. And therefore, I am patient and I will wait and I will let my glass slowly fill back up with water as I go. As I go, I'm building new muscle over here because I don't like this. This is completely outside of what I am normally very comfortable with. But you know what? Sometimes we have to just go through the bumpy part. I want to say in closing, it's kind of like being on an airplane. And I've used this analogy before. When you take off, you know, think about it in business, in your practice. When you open your practice, it's bumpy. Sometimes there's some turbulence taking off, right? There's a little air, wind, whatever, but it's turbulent. But once you get up to a cruising altitudes, it's usually smooths right out and you're kind of good. You're good. And then you hit that next little batch of turbulence and you think, whoa, what happened? I liked it back there when it was smooth. And it gets turbulent, but the turbulence kind of settles out. But this I know, I have never heard of a plane that has been in turbulent air taking off from airport A to airport B. I mean, there's some weird things that happen over the Bermuda Triangle, so don't hold me to that. Or whatever that's all about. Not even going to go there. But the turbulence, you always will land the plane. The airplane is always going to land. I've flown thousands of times on thousands of airplanes. And every time the plane has landed, might have been super bumpy. And I think I'm just in the turbulent part. And you may be in the turbulent part in your business too. And it's okay. It's okay because your plane will land. My plane will land because only good things come into my life. And I would say only good things come into your life. I really would encourage you to think about, what does that language look like for you? What feels right for you? That's just what works for me. But what feels right for you? And then how can you begin to adopt that language and let that be a part of the fiber or the fabric of who you are, so that when you get turbulent, you say, it's okay because only good things come into my life. Only good things happen to me. All of this is all good, even when it's bumpy. It's okay. It's okay because the bumpy's good. I'm going to find someone to work with me, and I'm going to celebrate that when she gets here. And it's fine. And I'm going to wait. I'm willing to wait. I don't like it. Not one bit. But I also am present and I'm going to just stay right here until I get this situation handled. There you go. All that talking. Sorry, I went a little bit long, but thanks for letting me share a little bit more vulnerably about what's happening in my world. I probably from the outside, it always looks like, rainbows and unicorns. And well, a lot of times it is because I just have created a really amazing life. But right now, yeah, it's not so rainbowy and unicorny, but it will be that way because, let me hear you say it, only good things happen in my life. You can say it. Only good things happen in my life. And that's what I'm waiting for. That good person's going to walk right in that door and make me so happy. All right, friend, take care. Thanks for listening. I'll be back next week on the podcast. Have a great week.